Yo, what's up? It's your boy Taye. And guess who?
Yes, it's me, the Guru. The Guru is here.
And this is season 1, episode 2.
Yeah, boy.
Of the game plan.
In between that, let me just get back to the fact that you went to Tobago.
Right.
I ain't get to see the beach yet, but I ain't taking it personal. I ain't go to Tobago yet since I come back. I just letting anybody know our free boat ticket, plane ticket, or ticket, wherever, anything. I want to see the Sister Isle.
And that's part of the reason why we actually about a couple of days late with the second episode, because you know we had a hectic week, boy, Chris.
Hectic 2 weeks.
Yeah,
to say the least. All right, onward we go.
So what we talking about? What we starting with? Hard thing.
The news. The news says, based on my reading of newspapers and such, that Stephen Hart has won a case of $5 million against the TTFA.
Against David John Williams led TTFA. How much money this man going and lose in court? Anyhow.
David John Williams is my friend, but really and truly, you're really...
$5 million. No,
listen,
TT dollars, Trinidad and Tobago dollars. So it's a little bit less than $1 million
US.
US.
Streak is very similar to Lawrence's losing streak.
We will get to he just now
yeah,
too.
for sure. But
so they lost in court. This is really for no damages. This is straight up for unpaid salaries that would have
wrongful
been
dismissal.
Right. So
fulfillment of his contract.
What has really been going on? He's lost the futsal team. He lost other people in court. Right now, the bill is something like about $15 million or something like that.
What is the bill that's also interesting to moi is the legal cost, because I assume that it wasn't like he hired Chris Gill and Taye to go in court and bush lawyer for him. And
bush lawyerism.
Right, and say, look, nah, we ain't no Stephen no money, man. It wasn't like that. Some lawyer went, they didn't charge him 2 cents. So I would like to know what those legal fees are, because obviously those legal fees also have to be paid. I don't expect somebody's doing it free. And then that is also, I assume, over the course of all the cases that he's lost, some kind of a substantial cost. So
probably the same win-lose record as Dennis Lawrence with his senior men's national team. But we'll get to that just now.
So listen. But if you read back the details of the case, it does not look good in David John Williams's corner. It almost seems as if there was a plot to get rid of Stephen Hart, and you have to kind of balance that with why. Why did they want to get rid of Stephen Hart? Was he doing a poor job? Was his record so poor? Did they feel it wasn't progressive, or is it that Stephen Hart and David John Williams did not get along? But obviously, it appears that way, and I think that's sad.
You know, the new broom always wants to sweep all little corners, so I could understand the concept of you coming in with your brand new executive. You want to replace things. Some of the things may not be working properly. Some of the things may be working properly. Yeah, you're going in. We've seen state boards come in and go in with new and new governments. So it's a kind of tradition here. So. It's not like if I don't understand, but Hart was a good coach.
Anyhow, next, onward. You want
what we got here? The opening of the home of football, major sports tourism project, or White Elephant down in Vancouver. What do you think? What do you think?
Says a white, and black.
I read black and white elephant.
Red, white, and black elephant. Wait, listen. Don't let me waste plenty time on it.
But you know they had Infantino, Mogdiliani, or whatever, the CONCACAF press, the FIFA president, the Trinidad and Tobago.
Where was Polome? She wasn't down there?
No, she wasn't there. The president, the prime minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the sports minister. So they had a real good thing. The presidential suite, the bed look hard, boy. Hard. You can put on a walk on that bed.
No,
you know what I mean?
The suite is not designed for beating out.
It's an ample.
It is designed for somebody to have a relaxing night.
I don't know what kind of president. If it's FIFA and CONCACAF presidents in that suite.
And when we say beat out, I mean of the sexual kind. It is not designed for that.
Listen, I don't know. I haven't seen
for that Taye.
All I've seen is what I've seen on YouTube, and just me, I am underwhelmed.
So when you saw Keith on the bed, he wasn't pressing down hard enough.
Anyhow, let me not get into that.
Because Keith was posing on the bed, right? It had a picture with Keith on the bed, and it had some people.
Yeah.
You know, so
we have a very bad track record with government members of government in hotel rooms, right? Moving right along. Trinidad and Tobago cyclists gets $1 million for new equipment.
They needed it.
Who is this?
I would assume it's the sprint team that which.
Who they get that money from?
I don't know who they're getting money from. Oh no, sorry. They would have received the money from I think it's called the Sport and Culture Fund, which is really
at the discretion of the Prime Minister.
Yes, but I think that fund is actually financed by receipts of NLCB.
Yeah.
And there is quite a lot of money in it, and it is really for sport and culture.
At the discretion of the Prime Minister.
I believe it is at the discretion of the Prime Minister.
OPM.
They needed it.
Thing about it is, $1 million might sound like a lot, but
it is a lot.
With the kind of money the top 8 teams spend on equipment, on prep, on medication, on restorative treatments.
$1 million is nothing.
$1 million is
$1 million TT is
it might sound like a hell of a lot, but the reality, Chris,
in big time sports now, if you want to qualify to go to the Olympics, especially in events where developed countries are at the top, you need to be spending money. Bottom line, if you decide you want to be the best football team in the world, you have to spend money in a way that we don't spend money.
Great Britain, they launched the Lotus bikes at the last.
The development for that bike alone might have cost $1 million TT. Onward.
Moving right along.
Onward, I'd say.
Athlete of the Year. Do you think cycling is going to make a clean sweep at the Athlete of the Year awards? Nicholas Paul, Neil Campbell, they put in a real good argument for themselves.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm always for my fans out there, I always try to be, as you all know me, to not be biased. Ooh, that was a good joke there. Right?
That's funny.
But I think if Nicholas Paul doesn't win it, I will be extremely surprised. He's the world record holder. He won the Pan Am gold medal. He won another gold medal. So I would be surprised. And
something about that world record though, a lot of mainstream international cycling journalists have started to put a little doubt and question the quality of that world record. And I'm like, what? So like GCN Racing and it's...
forget them.
Forget them. I watch them almost every day, but oh gosh. Listen, it's a world record. Stop it.
But in terms of the in the female category, I definitely think Tennille is up there.
Who else, boy?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like who else we would want to. What other female athlete we had?
The usual suspects is usually be track and field, football, cricket.
But we have no cricket or no football. And
so Tennille
and Nicholas, y'all are.
But you know something though?
Sportsman and sportswoman here. We predicted it here. End of story.
Akeem Stewart has been overlooked for this award.
And will be overlooked again.
Quite some time.
And he will
Do you think that he is in the blind spot with national administrators, brands, because he is in para sport? Do you think it's that?
Yeah,
you think we have that bias against para athletes?
Yes, I'm not even arguing. Yes.
Akeem is my boy, and I think this season coming up, 2020, he is going to stun some people in the so-called able-bodied sports world. I think that man is going to go to Tokyo. You heard it here, Akeem.
All right. Here's what I think before we move on.
Go ahead.
Including myself, I think the lack of understanding of para sport has, in a lot of ways, diminished how or why or what we think of para sport in terms of its totality, in terms of the actual performances. So we are not able to, in reality, to look at the performances for what they really are because we do not understand them. Having said that,
You mean like by the categories?
By the category,
Right,
the
okay.
entire scenario.
It is complicated.
It is very complicated, and I don't think. And the other aspect of that is, I think, sadly, the education of para sports is not something that seems prioritized at any level. It's becoming more popular, and people are investing more, and people are getting more interested, and a lot of people are getting into it in terms of from an administrative point of view. But I still think there is a lot of lack of knowledge, and everybody's kind of like, well, I don't know, I really don't know what that is about. So when it comes to voting for a sportsman or sportswoman a year, I think those people would still be kind of like, well, you're sure, how does that performance
compared to like
because they don't know. And I think what we need to do is start getting to know it.
But you know,
inclusive of myself, I ain't going to even say that I
you really know the divisions.
I don't know nothing.
But you know something, as a subset of international athletics, track and field athletics, para athletes have a smaller role in a sport that has been diminishing. Right, so you're seeing on the global level, IAAF had to rebrand as World Athletics because IAAF President Seb Coe has decided, whatever, that this has to happen for the sport to be able to regain some kind of traction. The Diamond League has cut events. They've actually reduced the length of the television broadcast for the Diamond League events, and they've also dropped 4 medal events for championship events in the overall Diamond League. So when you look at para athletes as a subset of that international trend, you know, it's a downward spiral on a downward spiral.
And then the other thing I suppose that you just brought up is para athletes from a commercial point of view, TV time and all that sort of thing. It's at this present time, it's not happening in probably the way they would like it to happen. And therefore, again, having the knowledge or seeing the events happening isn't what we as normal people see. So then, you know, everything is new to us. It's just, I think there's a level of unknown that needs to be known now.
Yeah, something that we definitely need to address here.
Yeah,
but of course, you know, here on TT Game Plan, we always talk about all our top elite, elite trainees. Para athletes, anybody, golf, table tennis, every sport. We ain't just talking about the top sports. Moving right along. Did Keith Look Loy get an invitation to the opening of the home of football?
A man say you could look left, you could look right, but you can't look low.
Oh my God. Hey, anyhow, Keith, when you win this thing, when your squad win this thing, call your boys, right? We have a few ideas we want to bounce off for you.
I mean, Keith boy, I hope he did. I honestly hope he did. And he's like the representative.
I hope he got an invitation and he goes on them.
Nah, he should have gone. He should have gone. If I was Keith, I was going. I want to see. I personally don't know the man. Keith, I don't know you personally. We've never been friends. But my honest opinion is I don't think he's against the home of football.
No, he's not. He's not.
I think he's against the process by which the home of football was brought into being. And he has a right, he has all right to question the process. And I agree with the fact that he wants to question it. He wants to find out, was the money spent the right way? And you know what? I'll give John Williams this little bit of credit. Right?
It finished?
David, 1, it finished. 2, it might actually might have finished on time, right? And 3, it might have actually finished within budget.
We don't know what the budget is exactly.
No, but
but we suspect.
But apparently, the whole thing has not cost more than 25 million.
For a 50-room hotel? Tobago, take a clap for that, my
I'm going to say, if that is the
actual
right,
numbers,
and all the fields and everything, man, take a bow. Take a bow, because if that was run by the government, that would be $255 million.
Anyhow, if you're going, Keith Look Loy, if you're going any home of football and you manage to find yourself in the presidential suite,
don't be
walk with your pillow in your suitcase, because them pillow and all look hard.
Yeah, boy.
Should we fire Dennis Talless Lawrence? Here's the scene. A man say on Facebook
Go ahead.
that after he scored that goal, if he take your girl, you'll be like, hey, what's he saying, Talless? Take it. Because he's just like a god amongst men now. But I think
I think 2006, right?
between 2005 and 2019, Dennis Lawrence, my brother, wrap it up.
Yeah.
Time to go.
You know what? I think one.
You know when you're checking them girl and thing at the outside by the door and and then you see mommy pour on the light and thing and she coming out. You ain't find it have a mosquito and thing. It's time to go, Dennis.
And you're real throwing lyrics and the girl kind of, well, you know, I have homework tomorrow and you know where I'm.
Time to go, Dennis.
And no, boy, yeah, but I can't go out tomorrow night. I can't go the night after.
Time to go, Dennis. Time to go.
And you're still staying and you're staying and you're staying. Yeah, that Dennis.
You know what though? I think this might be his last job. Think about some of the luminaries like Rod Hullett and his time in Chelsea. There are a number of former players who really only had one big job and that was it for them.
I wouldn't consider this a big job. Let me begin.
Well,
but hold up. Let me go back. First thing I vex about David John Williams, I just praise you, but I'm going to criticize you. For you to make a statement that you did not select this man as a coach is an abomination, an irresponsible statement. You are the president of the TTFA. In the end,
we don't
you
want too much power.
You are the one. No, he is the one that made the decision at the end of it all to say, you know what? Yes to Dennis Lawrence, right? And the buck stops with you. You are the president. So don't come back now and say, well, yeah, them hire him, you know, not me. Them hire him.
He ain't getting away from behind that 8 ball.
No, sire, you hire him.
David John Williams.
You hire him.
This is your call.
This is you.
Dennis.
Yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, Dennis' record is 6 wins in 36 matches.
You see what you see, anyway, we're going to talk about that a little later on.
So you know what? Well. And one of them was against a bunch of primary school boys.
You get to that just now.
You immediately fired forthwith. Next, onward. And if you want to sue me for that, sue me. Sue me because I say I fired. They should be fired. Go ahead.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said Trinidad and Tobago is lacking sports management. Or are we just lacking management? What do you think?
We lack in sports management, we lack in management, and you also lack in management inside the government. So
let me put it in context.
He knows good.
UE has a sports management and a sports tourism degree. Arthur Lockjack have core components for their MBA programs that deal with sports management, as well as tourism management, as well as event management. For sports. So what is happening? Most of the athletes, most of the athletes that go abroad for NCAA scholarship, they do sports-oriented degrees, sports management, physiotherapy. They do a lot of stuff that is very.
So you don't know what the problem is.
The problem is they don't work for them because all of these jobs are free.
Well, that is one of the problems. And the other problem with any kind of management in any sporting organization is cretinism. They run cretomania because they're a bunch of cretins. Listen, straight out, Cycling Federation, cretins. Football Association, cretins.
You was on that same cretin, boy.
I was, yes.
So you know exactly.
Exactly. The bunch of cretins. Wasting time. You can't wait. And you know what? When you listen,
in the same statement though, just now, in the same statement, in the same piece of opportunity to speak, Dr. Rowley also mentioned the fact that he looked back at a day where Hazley Crawford didn't have no track to run on, and there were a bunch of amateurs, and we want to look back at that time as, listen, sports changed.
Bogusness.
Sports has changed.
Epic proportion.
Doc, with all due respect, them days gone and will never come back. You know what I mean? We thank God for Hazley's service, but trust me, at Bolden, if he didn't have Armando track to train on every day that he was training, it's licks and more licks.
Say as a UNC. It looks like peas.
Maybe we could do a go bar track. Nobody has ever really looked into it.
True. But you know, the reality of it
Not
is
go
that,
bar on the track.
yeah, that done, them days done, and it not coming back. Sports management, the biggest problem in sport management is our culture.
I think, you know what?
You disagree with me? You could disagree with me.
Yeah, there's a cultural aspect to it.
Yeah,
but you know what
massive.
there is as well?
Uh-huh.
The same thing I just said. For you to be just coming out of school and your first job does not pay you.
Nonsense.
What kind of
No, and here's a reality. Here's a reality
real.
whether or not we like it, right? With the exception, so let's take the head of our Olympic Association, our Olympic Committee, Brian Lewis. He is a volunteer who is doing a full-time job that literally sometimes runs more than full-time hours. Compare that with the head of the Olympic Committee in England or USA or Canada or Mexico or Germany, and I could call 1,000 countries. All of them, they get paid, right? And not only they get paid, they have a staff. So again, the problem is that we do not invest enough money as a government. So Keith, you could take that and put it in any pipe you would like and smoke it anyhow you would like, be it one that might have a little bubble at the end.
That not legal yet.
True, right?
Faris, what are we saying?
Yeah.
What are we saying, Faris?
So they don't do that, right? When you have a budget that is 60 billion TT dollars, and the sport aspect of that budget is less than 1% or 1.5%, you are wasting our time with coming to talk about it don't have enough managers. Onward.
Next,
I mightn't vote for you neither.
Bethel and Queen's Park Cricket Club
Did you see it?
play on a waterlogged field in Tobago.
For this, I shall drop my microphone and do a live demonstration.
Wait. It have a YouTube clip somewhere?
I don't know if it have a YouTube clip, but
We'll
it was on
find it.
CNC3, and this is what happened. So there was a foul, and there was a penalty to be kicked, and this is what transpired. Hold on, people, I'll get up. Where the penalty spot? Now, here. No, it over there now. It there. Now, hold on, it here. Literally, water.
Ball float away.
Listen, if there was ever water more than flour,
Was it as bad as when USA came to play in Attleboro?
worse. Worse.
In the last hex.
Listen,
Oh my
with all
God.
due respect to the league,
But why did
match officials,
why did the team play in that?
I suppose the match officials.
What level is Super League?
That was Super League. It was Queen's Park versus Bethel, and I suppose the match officials decided the ground was good enough. That was an abomination and full cretinism and cretamania.
No, you see, for me, my knee is going through, right? So I know I can't go and run on no suspect pitch and thing with little hump and.
It was
So
water.
I want to play on a nice glass top feel and thing.
You better get that.
So
Everything looked level because
if I can't see the grass, I'll be like, coach, that's it for me.
Listen.
But the buyer must be aware. If the player decides, you know what, nah, I ain't playing on that, and players say, nah, we ain't playing on that, the captain of the team had to say something, the coach of the team had to say something, management travels with the team, the management had to say, nah, I am not risking
Keith Look
my
Loy.
assets on a pitch like
I
that.
want to know if I believe it was Super League, and I believe Keith Look Loy is still the head of the Super League, but I don't know who the head of the Super League is now, or if there's. But you all should look into it. It was absurd, and I think it should never happen.
I can't speculate as to if it's just money spent on the travel or whatever. Where they play in Tobago, right?
In Tobago, yeah.
Right.
In Bethel.
David John Williams, we like to call your name, but you're like
Yeah, boy.
chewing gum in my mouth. Loses to Venture Credit Union in court. And now he owes them $23 million.
Wait, when that happened?
That happened yesterday.
Venture Credit Union.
Venture Credit Union
Give me the story, give me the
is
story.
saying that the man owes them on unpaid financial instruments, whether it's loans or whatever it is.
He or them or the TTFA?
This is a personal matter between Venture Credit Union and David John Williams,
boy David.
who just so happens in this time to be the president of the TTFA.
David,
So David,
yeah, boy, David, that rough boy.
David didn't even contest the thing.
But he ain't contest the Stephen Hart thing.
Yeah, so man, let me tell you,
that must be it. You know, the funds must be run out, so you don't have money to even pay a lawyer. You can hire.
no, it's the same lawyer who's handling the TTFA business is also handling David John Williams.
Nobody.
Personal business, so which is highly irregular in its own
highly
self.
inappropriate.
Yeah. All right. So
Highly.
the questions that were raised were: would someone who has that amount of bad debt, unserviced debt,
23 million.
be allowed into a public office and have access to public funds? You can't be a counselor. You can't be a you can't even get a taxi. What we talking about? You can't be a member of parliament. You can't go for elections with that kind of money there. You can't run a bank. But we have this man with this debt trailing him. Right? But anyhow, when is elections? Next month?
23 million. No, elections is this weekend.
Well, you see what's going on?
This weekend coming here.
People,
Ooh,
that's what's going on. If you have a man owing you, listen, money, you can even owe me $23. I'll be like, Chris, what's the scene?
Where my money going?
Checking where my money at.
Yeah. Nah, wait. I'm sorry about that. I mean, I wouldn't want to be anybody to be in that position. So, I mean, I feel sorry for the gentleman. But at the same time...
I don't feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for the members of Venture Credit Union because they ain't going to see a cent.
Yeah, wait.
That money is gone with the wind, my brother. Anyhow, we look at moving on regionally. In regional news, Nicholas Pooran, Trinidad and Tobago cricketer, has been banned from his country's next four T20 internationals after admitting to tampering with the ball, not his ball, the ball in a match.
It would have been different.
The man says the man say he do it.
Well, the video show he do it.
No, but he say he do it.
Well, he get caught on video.
But he say he do it.
But he didn't have no.
What about the shaggy defense? Wasn't me.
Nah, it was definitely.
It wasn't me. Who's that guy in that video?
It wasn't he.
Looks really familiar.
Well, he
doesn't ring a bell. I don't know.
I just think he.
First rule of any Fed jump in your face. First rule, Chris. Deny.
Yeah. But you know what? Having said all of that, it obviously it was. I fabagas. I don't even know if this is poor judgment, just a childlike mistake. It might have been all three of them combined.
Remember that Aussie about a few years ago, who
Steve Smith.
Right. Do you think this is more prevalent than we want to admit?
It definitely was, and I think the ICC has clamped down on it, and having done so, it's become less prevalent. But I think the ICC has, or is trying to be very, I want to say draconian, and they really aren't. They've made it clear to players, don't mess around with these things, and players are still trying. And the sad part about it is, I really want to know, I want to ask Nicholas Pooran, if you stick your long fingernail, some men of them, which I find so I just find it kind of gay, right? But that's just me. They have men like to grow this long fingernail.
Like that too?
No, long fingernail on the thumb. There's like to grow that long fingernail on the thumb.
Right.
Which I just kind of find just kind of weird. And then you had that long fingernail and you're kind of trying to stick it down in the seam of the ball, and you're trying to flick and pull, which is what they basically caught him doing. I really want to know if it...
Disrupting the seams?
Yeah, trying to disrupt the seam, right? And make it... I really want to know if that one little instance that he had the ball in his hand where he was caught, which might not have been more than 10 seconds, right? If in that 10 seconds he really could have made a difference to the ball that was so drastic that it would have made the ball deviate in such a way as to make it difficult for the people who were batting.
If you could have gotten a measurable advantage from digging at the seam with your thumb.
Yeah, in that small space of time. Because here's the other weird thing about the whole scenario. The rules are such now that the umpires continue to regularly look at the ball over the course of a T20 match or 50 over match. So they keep inspecting the ball. If it's not every over, it's every other over. So they keep looking at it. So even if you did get some measurable advantage, it only lasts an over. So it just seems rather pointless.
How many times would one guy in a T20 match have that ball in his hand? Not a lot of time.
As I say,
you had to be in you. You know what I find?
I just find it pointless.
I find it was it was like some kind of negligible gain you would have gotten.
Yeah, and then
4-match ban, my brother.
Yes.
Think about it. Youths watching this show.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't even scratch your own balls. You're going to end up like Lance Armstrong with just the one.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Onward.
Barbados. Football team Barbados
Man,
goes up to tier 2
You know, first of all,
in CONCACAF Gold Cup qualifying.
Let me say this, God blame my man. I ain't like Barbados. You know.
Barbados.
Now, listen, man.
In tier 2. Guess which one that is?
Man, you got to be.
Same thing, because we just went down from Group A to Group B.
Man, take
So,
that A, beer nonsense.
You
right?
understand the whole.
Understand nothing, right?
You understand the whole
First of all,
CONCACAF.
Barbados can't play no football.
It's one of the worst.
Right? Because them, right? Listen, God blame my man. You talking a beer nonsense, man. Skipper. Listen, man.
After the show, we will have some roast breadfruit and flying fish from the beach, courtesy Chris Gill.
I looked at the Barbados Cayman Island match by chance. I was just flicking through the TV and it came on yesterday. And they happened to win. They won 3-0.
Yeah.
And
on an artificial pitch, right?
Yeah. It's at the Gary Sobers Sporting Complex. Gary Sobers Sporting Complex. Right.
It was.
And they had a small crowd.
The thing is, okay.
And listen, they played reasonably well. They beat the Cayman Islands. They had a couple of good chances. They scored. I don't think they should beat Trinidad and Tobago. That is my. Even with Dennis Lawrence as coach and how poorly we are playing at this time, I still think we could beat them. But you know what? The fact that we are now in the same level as them, in the same division as them, you should fire Dennis Lawrence forthwith. Send him to go and coach Angola.
CONCACAF has a very complex qualifying tournament for the Gold Cup and it's called the CONCACAF League, Champions League.
It's not just a qualifying tournament. It is what it is now.
It's called the CONCACAF Champions League, right? But it is also the qualifying tournament for World Cup, Olympics.
Everything from henceforth.
Yeah.
Gold Cup, everything.
There are A, B, and C groups.
Divisions.
Right. So each group has a certain number of teams. And as you win the top, in each group there are 4 subgroups, right? So if you win the top 2 in each group, go ahead in Group A, go into automatic qualification for Gold Cup.
Yeah.
So that would be like the Hex.
Yeah.
These are the teams that will play in the Hex. As we are familiar with, the Hex is the final round of World Cup qualifying. So it is a big deal that Trinidad and Tobago is no longer in that group, and we're in a group now where we might end up having to play the people we give 15-0. Angola.
They're down in
the next group.
We are in basically CONCACAF has 3 divisions, let me say it properly, and we are now in the second tier.
Right.
We have fallen out of that, and the team that has, in essence, there's a team that is going to be coming up from the B division that will now be promoted into our spot. We don't know who that team is yet. I'm not sure who that actual team is.
No, what?
Barbados came up from the bottom division and have now graduated to the B division.
Right. So what is going to happen is for Gold Cup, the losers in the A group will now play the winners in the B group. And that will form the top 16 for the, Google that. Yeah, it is complicated. But anyhow, moving right along.
Forward ever, backward never.
We beat Angola.
We beat them.
Angola, remember Chris was talking a little earlier on, it is our under 14 squad? It's not necessarily under 14. It's actually under 17. The goalkeeper is 15. The third string goalkeeper, folks, is 15 years old.
Yeah. The saddest part about all of this is the pat on the back. Everybody.
We only beat this team by 15. It's not that we tried to slow it down. Or we played. Look, Chris, I don't even want to talk about this.
You know what was the worst part? men like David John Williams making comments like, this is great, this is a fantastic win. Dennis Lawrence really talking about this
Dennis Lawrence. Hey, my brother.
This is good for the spirit of the team, and they will get back on track. You have to be on something not legal.
Mommy, come on, she say, time for you to leave. Right. Asafa Powell, Jamaican 100 and 200 meter sprinter, mainly 100 though, says that he is getting ready for Tokyo 2020 Olympics.
I am making a prediction: 1, that he will make the team; 2, that he will be part of their 4x100 relay; and 3, he will leave 2020 Olympics with at least 2 medals.
You know, that's not so far-fetched, because Jamaica's men's sprinting program, since the departure of Usain Bolt, has been struggling a little bit.
They will come good. They won't win. They will come good.
But
because the animal, what's his name? The short man.
Johan Blake?
Johan Blake will come off. Asafa will come off. There have a couple other runners will come off. They will have enough runners and they will perform. But I don't think they're going to win gold. And I don't think Asafa is. And I think actually now that Asafa is older, I think he's actually going to have that. You know, he's going to get the monkey off his back.
New marriage, new baby.
Yeah, and I think he's actually going to go to thing with no pressure.
300s to go to be the 100. 3 sub-10 hundreds to go to be the 100.
First man to run
100 sub-10 hundreds.
Yeah, and he will do it. I think he will do it.
I think, like he said in his comments, if he's healthy and he's running well, all of these things will line up. He has not been healthy for the past couple of years. He has not been full 100, but Asafa Powell on a good day.
9-7.
Yeah, is a beast of a guy. But remember now, Asafa, my boy, I love you bad.
How old he is now?
He ain't young. But
yeah, but I ain't saying how old.
But you know, he even at your best, Asafa, it was never about the legs. It was never about the physical fitness.
It was
wink, wink.
It was the brain.
I don't know, man. But hey, my brother, I would love to see you in our Olympic final.
If you see this podcast,
holla.
That's how we say it in Trinidad. CYAST. You need to call us out. My number is 719-2854. Holla us. I don't mind. You could, call in.
You know, Asafa is a real serious car, man. He have like about 50 Zor's car.
Yeah, you ought to call me.
Yeah, boy.
Asafa. You ought to call for sure. I like car.
Yeah, boy. For real.
719-2854. And I've got 28.
You have a wicked NSX. Acura NSX. He's sick. Hey, Asafa, I would love to see you run out there, my boy. I know it's going to be a struggle. But, there's a challenge for any sprinter. Look, Richard Thompson, he ain't give it up yet. He ain't nothing about Richard Thompson.
Richard ain't give it up?
No, my brother.
You serious?
I'm telling you.
Richard, give it up.
No, Richard. Hey, forget you, Jed.
Richard,
I want to say, you know what?
Richard it's not a nice wife.
It's not
Richard,
impossible.
Nice wife.
It's not impossible.
You to run 100 meters for, boy. Don't study them nonsense, boy.
Moving right along.
You get a gold medal. You get silver.
You get a gold medal, boy.
Well, yeah, you get a gold medal.
We guaranteed a gold medal in Tokyo.
You know what I mean? Go to Tokyo, have some fun, but don't go and run. Go and eat some sushi.
Hey, go and run, boy. Go and run, boy. Moving on, we want to go and touch a couple of international headlines.
Hey,
MotoGP crowns Marc Marquez for the 8th.
You sure it's 8 times he win?
8 ball, you're down the 8 ball. 8 MotoGP titles. He would have had other titles in Moto3 and Moto.
Anyhow, I've seen him. Listen,
he's the truth.
I know a lot of Trinidadians, you all might know that we also know motorsports because we are that kind of us. Let me get a high five. Pow. And I see a couple of races, through the years, watch him. That man's sick bad.
Yeah.
That man's sick bad. He's a dominant rider. He's a dominant rider in a way that Valentino Rossi wasn't a dominant rider, and Valentino Rossi was a dominant rider. Valentino Rossi would get in battles with guys and he will come out on top and he would win. Freaking this man Marc Marquez would hit the front and gone.
Disappear.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But you know what he's been doing recently, what he's been doing, what I've noticed, I don't know, this is my analysis on it. He goes to the front, so it's either he going hard and he going in front and he beating you by 2-3 seconds, or he's going to go and he's going to stay right behind the guy in the lead for most of the race. Like last race was Quattararo, young 20-year-old guy, really exciting talent.
French
on
guy.
the
His name is Quattararo.
on the satellite Yamaha team, a bike that Rossi and Vinales, two very, very talented riders, could not get to do anything at all.
Yeah,
but Quattararo has been on pole for what, I think 6 times for this season.
He
has been making that bike talk, and let me tell you, Marc Marquez was right behind this guy, and then when he ready, bust your throat. Last race in Spain somewhere, I think it was Valencia, I'm not sure. He was right behind Vinales, and it was just the same thing. He doesn't want you to learn how to ride like him. So he's just staying there, and when they say, oops, here's a little alarm, it's go off on his iPhone or whatever, some $50,000-$60,000 Audemars Piguet or whatever it is.
Sick bad.
Yeah, he will just do something, bam, bust your throat, last 2 laps, and I'm telling you, his brother is coming up.
Yeah,
so right now it's pre-season training, testing going on. The new bikes for 2020, his brother's going to be in the tops. It's going to be excitement. I really hope that they give some nice new working bikes for them Yamahas.
I want to see a MotoGP before the great Lord takes me over onto the other side. I want to go and see and I would love to see a race with those kind of guys, because when you look at it on TV, and sometimes, you know, you get a little slow-mo and you see the back wheel in the air coming into the braking zone. I mean, the back wheel is in the air. This man is riding on his front wheel coming into the last 50 meters before that corner. And the only thing you're thinking is, this man is insane. And then the back wheel drops and his bike is kind of sideways, you know, and he's literally sliding that bike and still maintaining control and then taking his corner. I'm like, man, these fellas really sick.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that.
I will see it back.
We might start a GoFundMe. Send the boys.
Yeah, we will go. I know where's the nearest one. What exciting one.
USA.
Nah, that
you want to go USA? Why?
Nah, I want to go somewhere exciting. Let me meet some Spanish girl.
Phillip Island or something?
No, that far. That's not Spanish girl. Alright, come, let me go discuss it. Some nice Spanish girls and thing. You know what I mean? Make it well happen.
Colin Kaepernick, NFL workout fiasco.
Alright, let me break this one down. This is called, you see,
that's what boy.
Yeah, for episode 3, we're going to get a sign mark the breakdown, because this one needs to break down. Alright. Colin Kaepernick, for those who may not have known, but you would know, of course, he was with the San Francisco 49ers, led them to a Super Bowl, which they lost, but he played excellently. And then thereafter, he decided to kneel. And the season when he was kneeling, things didn't go so good for these 49ers. I think they ended up 4-12, I believe was their record that year. About halfway through that season, he was taken out as the starting quarterback, and I can't remember who the guy that they put in. Excuse me, you see that this game is so upset at a boob. And then in the end of it all, at the end of the season, basically,
he ain't got walking over 3 years.
His contract was, let's just say, terminated, right? And the massive reason for it is because he was kneeling. It didn't have anything to do with his performance on the field. And his stats and everything like that, because he's better than 3/4 of the quarterbacks in terms of just pure statistics that are currently playing, right, in terms of pass averages and that kind of thing, and yards, and he can rush too. He's not just a quarterback who can throw, he can rush. He's one of what they call a rushing quarterback, and that was one of his unique talents, that he could, a lot of times when the ball, he couldn't see a play, he would be able to run.
But what about this fiasco that's happening right now?
So here's how,
now that you've laid the ground.
Right, so here's how this fiasco went on. The NFL is dastardly in the way they did it. So the NFL had to pay Colin Kaepernick a settlement figure, which we don't know.
Undisclosed,
but there have been estimates as 20 million, 5 million. You could try any figure out. So part of it is that they had to give him basically this opportunity to show his talents to teams. It was done firstly on a Saturday. The reality of it is, on a Saturday, none of the general managers or the scouts are coming to any showcase of any players, because they have games on Sunday. 99% of any time of this type of event is being done, it's done on a Tuesday,
midweek, right,
or Monday, when after their game and basically the day that they have the day that is least active in terms of the coaching cycle for an NFL team. So you can imagine they have game day on Sunday, so Saturdays are prep day, Friday might be a prep day, Thursday, Wednesday. So Monday or Tuesday is probably the day that they have the least amount of activity. They could fly from some part of the states to go wherever it is he's having. The other thing was that he was having the combine, let's call it a combine, inside an NFL stadium. And the NFL banned the media. There was going to be no media coverage of his actual combine. He found out that, and he moved the combine. You know that, right? And he moved it out of an NFL stadium so that the media could see. And in the end, when the media saw and what was, they realized that not only was he fantastic, but that based on all the, what he was asked to do, he should be playing.
Having said all of that, Chris, there are a couple of issues that needs to be put out into it.
Right.
Does Colin Kaepernick want to play or not?
He does.
Right. What is standing in the way is not something that he has any control over.
I agree.
It is the league. At what point in time do you say, okay, it's not going to go perfect, it's not going to go according to my plan, but you know what, I'm going to make some concessions, I'm going to meet that in the middle. I don't know if Colin did that. I don't know.
I think he has. I am putting my money on saying he has.
Is it a question of, did these teams really need to see? No, I don't think any NFL team needs to see Colin play. These are 50-year-old quarterbacks in this league, man, or people who play like.
Yeah, I think the NFL demanded that teams take a look at Colin.
You know what it is?
Only out of that sort of, let's try to make the process seem fair.
Look at it like this, right?
So it was all set up.
If any one team had given him a look and didn't hire him, you don't want that smoke. You don't want that heat at all. So what the NFL did was a compromise. Everybody come in. So if XYZ team didn't hire him, then they're not under the gun like that. They're not in that negative media space where Colin could say, you see, it was just jokes and it was just mama guy and man, whatever the thing is. So
league is mama
they put a whole set of them in there, but so it kind of protected them. It kind of gave them a little bit of breathing room there. So in case one or 10 or 15 or all 32 teams didn't want to pay him, didn't want to play him, which is really stupid because we have to ask the question, do owners want to win? Some of them do. Some of them don't necessarily. Some of them is a hobby for them. Right? These are billionaires.
But you got to remember, even a team like the Cleveland Browns, who might have had or is having a constant losing record over the last 10 years, more than they've had a winning record, is still a profitable franchise. That's the bottom line. The cost that the man paid for the franchise, the receipts he gets.
I think it was a bit of a setup. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Jay-Z either. I don't know if Jay-Z had a hand in this, but it kind of backfired. I don't know if that will
Jay-Z
affect.
come like Kanye West going on Joel Osteen show.
I ain't going there either.
Kanye going and visit Trump and talking about he should get a jet. What is that rocket? Yeah. But
Kanye, my brother, Black Jesus. So anytime you're having all these white boys, surfer boys looking like Chris and Taye on your thing, that's wrong Jesus. That's what's up.
Here's a question I have for Kaepernick. Colin, and you can also call me at 719-2854 and you can I want to answer. I would like to have a conversation with you. I hope you do call. The area code for is
868
rep 868, right? 719-2854. Here's what I want to ask. If you do get back in the NFL and you do get selected even as a backup quarterback, lo and behold, you are there, will you kneel again?
I think he should, because they're still shooting black fellas in the hood.
Yeah, and it's not that I just asking if he will.
Has the NFL changed that bylaw though? I don't know. I know that NBA has one. I know that the MLB has one, that you have to stand for the anthem. I'm not so sure if it's still in the NFL that they haven't addressed that.
They might have.
The other one, 15 games into the NBA season, What have we learned?
Houston
LA is
Rockets.
up top.
The Western Final, I predict. Christopher Gill is predicting that the Western Conference Final will feature the Houston Rockets versus the LA Lakers. Houston Rockets in 7. Houston Rockets in 7.
Golden State,
Not even make any playoffs.
three wins or something like that.
Not even make any playoffs.
Yeah.
And the Eastern
Struggle bus for Golden State.
The Eastern Conference Final will feature the Boston Celtics against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee, hey, Giannis.
That is my prediction. And the final will feature Houston versus Boston, and I think Houston will win.
All right, and there you have it. All right, one last thing before we go. Guess what? We're back to Trinidad and Tobago, where it all started. The cyclists, them boys are them, and they're going to make a trip, 3 events over in the Pacific. You have Hong Kong, you have Cambridge, New Zealand, and you have Australia.
Yeah, Australia. I don't know if it's Adelaide or...
You're right. I think it's
Perth or
I think it's Adelaide.
It's Adelaide.
So we're going to have 3 bites of the apple. So qualifying for the Olympics, they pick your best 3 performances. After those 3, you have 1 more shot in case things go really, really upended. There's 1 more shot in Connecticut, right up there in Connecticut. Well, you know, they're just Canadian Mexicans, right? But anyhow, right up there in Milton, Canada.
You see it.
That's the last World Cup for the year before the World Championships next year. And I don't know, what do you think? Tennille Campbell has already qualified for the Olympics in the time trial as well as the road race. Do you think we will see our lads in the...
We have 3 qualification races going on, right? We have with the sprint team. So as a team sprint, they are trying to qualify as a team sprint, and they must make the top 8.
Right. So right now they're what, 10?
They're 10. After that,
a real tough, competitive group of teams right around them, though.
You have also the top 32 riders. I think it's 32, but I think the way they're doing it is 16 riders will come from the 8 teams that qualify, and then the next 16 best sprinters in the world, mad sprinters in the world, will also qualify for the Olympics. I am telling you right now, Nicholas Paul is a shoo-in. He's definitely going to be going to the Olympics. That's for sure. Quite possibly, Justine might also be able to pick up enough points to get inside that top 16, so that's possible. And then the third one is the Keirin, where Kwesi Brown is also trying to get in that same frame. So you also have the 8 teams, they will provide 16 riders, and then you have the next best 16 riders who are not part of those 8 teams will also qualify. I have an odd feeling that Kwesi will not make it.
So the question is, if we don't qualify as the team sprint, it's going to be troublesome. It's going to be a much more difficult route to the Olympics. Our prayers are with you, but you know, it's an infinite God, and they pray to the same God. So
it's a little difficult, because when they go over to these 3 World Cups, the teams that are most in contention with us will be Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and China. They all come in with everything they have. They are throwing, just like us, these 3 events are the ones that they are putting in all the effort to qualify for, or put out their best efforts for towards the World Cup.
So they would have had Minsk, they would have had Scotland,
Glasgow, but so the Dutch have won.
They would have had in
Germany has, I think France and Holland would have been the 2 teams that really bolstered their chances there. And they are Great Britain, of course, right? But then the other teams that are in the mix is Russia, Poland, Japan, China, Australia, New Zealand, Trinidad and Tobago, and then kind of like Germany is somewhere in between there, but they are ahead of us. So you will find that I think the real issue comes for teams like Japan and China. And then after all of that is done, and we do get to the World Championships, where the real points are. So for example, if you win let's say you come 3rd and you get 300 points at a World Cup, if you come 3rd in the World Championships, it's 900 points, and it's like
triple dipping.
It's triple. So that final position in the World Championships is even more important. Right. So one.
So we will have four attempts then.
Yeah,
so you
4
have
attempts.
these 3, then you have Milton, Connecticut, and then you have
The
World Championships.
Where I can't
So
remember
that's
that.
5. I think it's Poland. No, Poland was this year.
Poland was this
So
year.
is Germany? Is it Berlin?
Could be.
You know, World Championships. So we have 5 bites of this apple,
Yeah.
fellas. Woo! Hey, you know, Larry from Motorcycle etc.
Yeah.
Donated some tires for the
Yes,
guys.
part of the
Enough
$1 million.
respect. I don't think so. But enough respect, Larry.
That's
Big
from,
ups there.
he's from Central Spokes.
Central Spokes.
Right.
Yeah, one of the senior members at Central Spokes.
Yeah.
And enough respect to that, you know what I mean? Because we could tell you them thing ain't cheap.
No.
Nope, they're not. And they need a lot of them. So,
Yep.
anything else? Hey, the British road team. I think there's only one man going to be in the men's road cycling at Olympics.
Hard luck.
It's yeah.
Things get
This
rough.
is a country that had how many they won each of the world tours, the grand tours last year. So yeah, my brothers,
Things are rough.
things are rough in the world.
With the Olympics, it really is like, you know, if you gotta go through the qualifying process, which is long and arduous, and then after all of that, you have to get numbers here and numbers there and numbers there. I think teams like Great Britain are allowed 3 riders or 2 riders.
No, I'm telling you, we'll dig up in it for the next show.
we'll dig up in it for the
But you
next
know,
show.
hey, folks, thanks for watching. Some
Yep.
of you all actually watched the whole hour. So,
Yeah.
you know, if you like it, remember, subscribe, share it, spread the word, comments. We love the support. We love the feedback. We know the lighting a little sketchy.
Yeah, we get it
but you know
better.
what?
Don't worry,
We're
don't
working
worry.
on that.
I
Thank you.
will have the signs saying the breakdown, and then things will just get worse, and you know things gonna just up. We're gonna up the level.
We want to thank Carissa Barbour. She's been doing the edits for us, Carissa.
Thank you, Carissa. Thank
You're the
you,
man.
Carissa. Thank you, Carissa.
All right, so fellas, ladies, gentlemen, thanks for watching.
Everybody out there,
It's
see
your
you
boy
later.
Taye, and
And
we
the
out.
Guru, we out. See you. Bye.